All right, YouTube, we're gonna got a 2012 Chevy Malibu, and we're gonna be doing a brake job. You can see the rotors are eaten up, so there is no way to turn these and save them. They need new rotors, and we'll get it apart and show you how to do it. Okay, so we got the wheel off. They were 19 millimeter lug nuts, and you see that grinding much worse. Go inside here, and you can see not much pad left compared to the other side. Well, there's a lot more pad. So that tells me that the caliper on the passenger side is sticking, and so we're going to get them a new caliper. And always when you replace a caliper, replace your brake hose as well, because that causes a lot of issues too. Okay, so to start this, we're going to go after this 14 millimeter bolt. Typically Chevy has 13s, but this is an aftermarket caliper, so it's a little different size. That's going to be 14. Take those out, and then the caliper will have to pry off. Bolt out, and see, it just pops out like that. All right, set your caliper up there. Now we're going to go after these 15 millimeter bracket bolts. There and down there. Okay. Got the bracket off, so now we're going to get this rotor off. Mine was real loose, but sometimes it'll stick on there like that, and you just take a hammer and smack a good smack and it'll come off. Okay, we got a new rotor. I've already cleaned the backside, but they have oil on them to keep them from rusting on the shelf. You just take some brake cleaner, spray it down, and get you a little rag, wipe her off. Simple as that. Now we're going to be replacing this brake hose and caliper. Now the caliper did squeeze in, but it was way more worn on this side than the driver's side. So I'm thinking maybe we might have a hose issue here. Caliper and bracket, we're going to take it apart so we can reassemble it in the car. And actually I'm going to get our new hose and go ahead and put it on the caliper too. So just show you how it's together once it's done. Okay, so putting the hose on, it does go a certain way, so you got to make sure that you line it up correctly. So you got to look at your old hose and how it aligns with the caliper, and make sure you match it up before you start switching everything out, so that when you go to put it all back together, it's not, your hose doesn't get all twisted and you end up with the same problem. Side note, I forgot to mention, these calipers come with copper gaskets, okay, and there's two in there. Okay, see the two? One goes on top of the hose, the other one goes on the bottom next to the caliper. Make sure you do it so it'll seal properly. I got the bracket on, and what I found to replace the hose, I still got the old hose attached just so I don't lose a lot of brake fluid, is that I normally reassemble the new caliper and bracket and then switch the hoses out so that it's a lot easier, you don't lose as much brake fluid. Your new brake pads are going to have these wear indicators. Sometimes you got to attach them like this one. Sometimes they're built on, and then you just normally to wear the ones like this go on the back side. Then your other pad without a wear indicator goes on the front. It's like any repair job, unexpected things happen. This bolt that holds the hose broke off, and so actually it's made with the hose. It just kind of squeezes it on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to hammer this back in to loosen up this bracket so we can get this hose free. Worked like a charm. Just had to grab a milling mirror or a Thor's hammer. And then we're going to go and break this brake line loose. Already got the new brake line on there, so it's ready to go. And don't lose a whole lot of brake fluid. So we're ready. I got this nice and secure on the new hose. It's ready to plug in right here. And this is a 13 millimeter brake hose. Now it looks like this clip is made onto the hose and should release a little bit once I loosen this up. So we'll see. And it looks like the bracket is moving with me, so I'm gonna have to grab a pair of pliers to hold this in place. So it'll be broke loose off screen, sorry. Okay, so that brake hose fits, and you can see that little notch there. There's actually 2 notches, and it lines up, and then that clip does go with the brake line. And it lines right up, and then you just tighten her on up. And yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. One of the easier brake lines I've ever replaced. It's so easy to get in here and get these lines lined up properly, because I will tell you, on some other brake jobs, these brake lines can be a real pain to line up right. Alright, that's pretty snug. Now I'm going to grab my brake line hose, tighten that up, and then I'll show you how to gravity bleed. And what you're going to do is you want to gravity bleed. If you're doing, especially if you're doing a brake job by yourself, just break this bleeder valve open and you let it sit. Let gravity do its work. It will eventually drain out, hopefully. It does take a while, so I'm not going to record it the whole time. Gravity bleeding wasn't working, so I got somebody in the car to pump the brakes for me. Open them up. Go ahead and press the brake pad down. Got closed, release. Open. Yeah, push it. There we go. Close, pump it up now. Now what we're looking for is that air. Closed, pump it up again. Just a touch of air left. Do it one more time. All right, no air. How's the pedal feel? All right, now it's just clean it up and put the wheel back on and take it for a test drive. Well guys, that's a basic brake job. Now every car is a little different. There's going to be some variation. Some have bolts that hold your caliper, or excuse me, your rotor on. And so you have to take that into account. But for the most part, they're basically all the same. Some cars are different, but you have to do a little bit of research. But in general, that's how you do it. If you need any help, just come see us at Coombs Service Center. This is Big Guy Auto. I'll see you around.